Hello everyone. We were dealing with transpiration and today we will continue with that. A few part of transpiration is left, so let us start it. Transpiration. You might know now, till now, that what is transpiration. We have dealt with how to prove that transpiration happens. We have also dealt with to check the rate of transpiration. We have done the potometer part. We have done the types of transpiration, that is stomatal, cuticle, and your lenticular transpiration. So today we'll be discussing regarding the factors that affect transpiration. There are some factors that affect transpiration. So factors are of two types. One are external and another one are internal factors. External means the one which are affecting transpiration from outside the plant. And internal factors are those which are affecting transpiration by being within the plant, right? For example, example of external is sunlight, right? Sunlight is outside, it's not inside the plant. And internal can be stomata, number of stomata. So stomata are present within the plant. So two types of factors are there: external, internal. External are the ones that affect the plant from outside, and internal factors are the ones that affect the plant from inside. So there's six in number. Firstly, external factor number one is intensity of sunlight. Sunlight intensity means how much sunlight is present, that will affect transpiration. How? Because more the sunlight, when is the sunlight more? Obviously in the day. During day the sunlight is more. Why? Because why sunlight is more, that we can't answer, but during the day when sunlight is more, what happens that stomata remains open so as to take in carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide they need for photosynthesis. So they have to open their stomata to take this carbon dioxide inside because they can't survive without food, right? So meanwhile, during the day when sunlight will be more water will go outside. Why? Because stomata, plant have to open that stomata in order to take in the carbon dioxide. Okay, so more the sunlight, this you have to remember in this way, that how are these factors increasing or decreasing the transpiration. So more the sunlight, more will be the transpiration. Okay, second factor is temperature. So obviously if the outside temperature is more water will tend to go outside. More water will go outside. Why? Because temperature more means plants need to cool down, right? So excess of water will be released, that is transpiration. More the temperature, more is the transpiration. Okay, third factor is velocity of wind. Velocity of wind means with how much speed your wind is blowing. For example, this is a plant, this is the leaf. Now transpiration is happening through the leaf, right? Let us say some of the water molecules are coming out. If the wind is blowing, it direction is not here, it can be in any direction. Wherever the wind is blowing, the wind must blow. Okay, so if the wind is blowing, that wind will take these water molecules with it. Okay, whichever way is it, if the wind is blowing from this side, it will take the water molecules away with it. And when these water molecules will be taken taken away, this space will be cleared. So as we discussed earlier that water leaves the plant via diffusion. So diffusion always happens from higher to lower. Higher to lower, right? Where the thing is more towards where the thing is less. So obviously water is inside. Water inside is more, much more, and if this space is cleared by the wind, there will be no water left. So the water molecules will move from higher to lower, right? So this is happening with the velocity of wind. If wind is blowing with a particular speed, it will take the water molecules away and it will clear the space, and it will be easier for water to come outside from inside. Alright. Fourth factor is your humidity. Humidity means amount of moisture present in the air. Nami, what you call as humidity. Amount of moisture present in the air. So if already there is many water molecules outside, it will not be possible for the plant to send the water molecules which are inside towards the atmosphere, because there are already many water molecules, many water vapors present in the atmosphere, right? So if humidity is more, transpiration will be less, because if water vapors are already much more outside, then plant will not be able to send other water molecules outside. So more the humidity, lesser will be the transpiration. Factor number 5 is amount of carbon dioxide. Remember this thing, that plant will always take in carbon dioxide when it will be in proper amount, that is 0.03. This is the optimum level of carbon dioxide that plant will take inside. If it exceeds the 0.03, if it is much more than 0.03, then the stomata will remain closed and hence transpiration will decrease. So if carbon dioxide level is greater than 0.03, then transpiration will decrease. And the last factor, factor number 6, is atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is that pressure that is laid by atmosphere on the plant, that atmosphere is putting on the plant. So water molecules are coming to try, water molecules are trying to come out of the plant. They are trying to come out of the plant, but atmosphere is putting a pressure on them. The atmosphere is putting pressure on them. In that case, the water molecules, the water vapors will not be able to come outside. So more the atmospheric pressure, lesser will be the transpiration. These things you have to remember. More the sunlight, more transpiration. More the temperature, more transpiration. More the velocity of wind, more is the transpiration. While more humidity, lesser transpiration. More level of carbon dioxide, lesser transpiration. More is the atmospheric pressure, lesser is the transpiration. So these are the external factors which are increasing or decreasing the rate of transpiration. Now there are some internal factors as well that controls transpiration. For example, plant doesn't want to lose much water from them. They feel that the water they are getting is quite less in amount, so they don't want to release more amount of water outside. So they deal with some adaptations. They follow up some adaptations. They adapt themselves in order to release less water vapor. So what does they do? They follow some internal factors. Number 1 is your sunken stomata. Sunken stomata means stomata is present deep talk about epidermis, stomata is present here only, on the surface. Basically, stomata normally is present on the surface, but if plant doesn't want to lose much of the water, the stomata remains sunken. They appear to be like this. This is the epidermis will fold itself. Here will be the stomata. This is what we call sunken stomata. Stomata remains hidden, deep. Okay. So, if plant does not want to transpirate, if it wants to save water, it will get sunken stomata. Number 2 is fewer stomata, less stomata, fewer stomata. Fewer stomata, if plant doesn't want to lose water, what can it do? Lessen the number of stomata. Lesser the stomata, lesser the transpiration. Factor number 3 is narrow leaves. So narrow means patle obviously. So more the broader leaves will be there. If the leaves are quite broad, wide, that means the area will be more. The surface area will be more. More will be the transpiration. So if plant wants to control transpiration, it will narrow down the leaves. If the leaves are narrow, the surface area will be less. If surface area is less, transpiration will be less. Factor number 4 is reduced exposed surfaces. Reduced exposed surfaces. Exposed surfaces are the ones that plant is showing off to the atmosphere. So if plant doesn't want to lose water, it can hide its exposed surface. For example, the leaves, they will fold themselves. The leaves that are present like this, they will curl themselves up. Why? So that they does not come directly, they do not expose themselves directly towards the atmosphere. Then the link will be broken, area will be lessened, and transpiration will be less. Fact number 5 is loss of leaves, as in case of your cactus. Cactus doesn't have leaves, so if the plant doesn't want to show transpiration, then the only thing it can do, the main thing it can do is complete loss of leaves. Leaves will not be there, stomata will not be there. However, stomata must be there because they need carbon dioxide, so they opt some another methods for taking in carbon dioxide, but loss of leaves means there will be no transpiration. Last factor is thick cuticle. So in the previous part we talked about cuticle, that cuticle when we cut out the TS of a plant, so cuticle is the outermost waxy layer which prevents evaporation, right? But we said that although some of the evaporation still happens, but if plant wants to control this loss of water, the cuticle can be quite thick. This layer will be thicker than normal so as to control transpiration. So these are the factors which are adapted by plant to lower the rate of transpiration, not to increase but to lower the rate of transpiration. Next are the significance of transpiration. What is the importance of transpiration? How is transpiration useful? Significance. Number 1 is, we already discussed this, that it gives cooling effect to the plant. Cooling effect to the plant. Whenever the water vapors leaves the body, leaves the surface of the body, what remains behind is cooling effect. So if water vapors are getting away from the plant, it will give cooling effect to the plant. Number 2 is suction force. Suction force. So this we already have done, but still imagine a plant, its roots, the leaf. So what is happening? I told you, you have to imagine a line in your assembly that if one person leaves that queue, imagine that person is being called on stage for receiving something, that person leaves your queue, then this person will shift here, the person behind will shift here, and so on. They'll keep on shifting, right? Similarly, when one water molecule is escaping the plant, this surface will be empty now, and the water molecule behind it will take its place. Similarly, this water molecule will take its place, and the water molecules keep on moving upside. Here the water molecule, it will shift, and this place will get empty. This place will be void, empty, and the water molecules present in the soil will then try to move to come inside. Okay, so this force is known, this water molecule, this transpiration wala water vapor is trying to suck these molecules inside. So such a force is created by the means of which the water molecules present in the soil are attracted towards the plant. Why? Because this space is being cleared. Obviously, if this space is empty, then the whatever thing is present here, it will try to cover the space, right? So this is happening, that when the water molecule present outside leaves the plant, then there is a void created here, an empty place created here, which attracts the water molecules from the soil. So this is being created by transpiration only. Which force? This is suction force. Number 3 is that distribution of water. So as we know that leaves are present on the topmost parts, so whenever the water travels towards the leaf, it gets distributed equally everywhere. Not only water, not only the distribution of water, but along with water, minerals are also distributed equally everywhere in the plant. 3 significances of transpiration: it gives cooling effect, it creates suction force which help to absorb more water, and it distributes water and minerals in the plant equally. Now there is another process. The name is guttation. Guttation. We said that transpiration happens, plant is removing excess water, right? Now what happens if look, the purpose of roots is to absorb water. They'll continuously absorb water inside whatever the conditions are. Whether the water is going out from the plant, whether transpiration is happening or not, the roots will do their task. They will continuously absorb water. So imagine if there is lot more humidity outside, there are many water vapors outside in the atmosphere, there is humidity level is much more, then plant will not be able to send the water molecules outside. Okay, in the form of vapors, it will not be able to send water outside the plant. But water is inside, water is present excessively inside, then what happens is that plant still gives out water, now not in the form of vapors but in the form of water droplets, and this doesn't happen through stomata, but this happens via another opening that is present in the leaves only, known as hydathodes. These hydathodes are present on the margins of the leaves. So what happens? The water droplets accumulate on the margins of the leaves. This is the excess water that plant now cannot keep inside, and it forcibly, this is a forced way of sending the water out. Normally it is not happening. So plant have to force out the water droplets via hydathodes. So normally when we see in the morning, sometimes when you wake up early in the morning and you might observe some of the plants, there are water droplets present on the leaves of the plant. It is nothing but the plant has released the excess water in the form of water droplets via opening known as hydathodes, and hydathodes are present on the margins of the leaves. Okay, if transpiration is not happening, plant still has to send water outside, then it do it forcibly, and process is known as guttation. Now there is one more process known as bleeding. Bleeding and guttation are quite different. Bleeding is similar as your bleeding. Whenever there is cut or some kind of injury, if you cut or injure a plant, then something oozes out, something comes out of the plant. What comes out is sap. Sap is nothing but mixture of water and minerals along with some of the food. There can be some organic molecules, there can be some molecules of food as well. Water and minerals, because they are mixed in water only, right? So sap comes out of the plant whenever there is some cut or injury in it, and this process is known as bleeding. Same as our bleeding, blood comes out. In this case, plant is not having blood. What it is having inside will come out, right? And that is your sap. Alright? So this is all about your chapter, and I'll be sending you an assignment today that you have to send me back by solving it. Meanwhile, read thoroughly the whole chapter, and then we'll start with the next one. Alright? Thank you.